Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Telling Tales. Welcome to Symbaroum, because it's Wednesday, and that's what we do on Wednesdays. Before I start introducing people, let's go through the usual promo stuff. If you check down below, you'll find a bunch of channel links. There's links to our YouTube, to our Twitch. You're watching on one. Please do check out the other one. Twitch is where you'll find us live, and YouTube is where you'll find all of our previous content uploaded to experience at your leisure. There's also links to our Discord, to our Patreon, to our social media. If those are the kind of things you enjoy, then get involved with those. We currently run 2 weekly series here on Twitch and then on YouTube. Wednesdays is, of course, Symbaroum, and Mondays is Vaesen, the kind of Victorian folk horror system from Fria Ligan. So, if you fancy either of those, please do watch them. We also run monthly one-shots. January actually had 2 of them in sequels to previous One Ring and Alien one-shots we did. And the one for February will be on Sunday, February the 19th, where you can join us to watch Sam and one of our crews go kind of play around in Call of Cthulhu, which is a system we've played in quite a bit before. But Sam will be a fresh new keeper for the channel. And it's also submarine based. So if anyone out there is just really into submarines, then that could definitely do it for you. So Symbaroum, we have a new sort of recap system that we're fiddling around with. And please do let us know if you hate it or you love it or you are completely indifferent to it, whatever you want. But basically, I'm going to bring on one person and they're going to give a kind of rough summary of the campaign so far, essentially, or this part of the campaign anyway so far, and then I'll bring on the others one by one, and I'll give a quite succinct description of the last session. So hopefully we'll power through these recaps a bit quicker, and the lucky player who gets to walk through the campaign for us tonight is Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hello, my name's Chris, but you can call me Chris. I'd like to give you a kind of Steel's eye view of the campaign so far. We'd arrived in Carvosti mostly for sightseeing, mostly off the back of a little bit of Ordo Magica work, and mostly on the attempt by myself and Aaron Dar to make contact with Tiana again, to figure out what we're to do next in terms of kind of the overarching situation in Davokar and the corruption in the north. By one reason or another, we got ourselves entangled in a bit of a conspiracy around a lady by the name of Elmendra, who had received the titular witch hammer, apparently, and had kind of rumored to have found Symbar itself. A number of the party's eyes kind of lit up with the concept of the vast riches that are probably in the capital of the ancient civilization. Steo, however, just wants to try and avoid as much trouble as possible coming out of that place, and was reticent to go after this person due to the quite significant crowd of people who had the same idea. But as we left, and we decided on our direction east towards this settlement called New Earthmore, as more and more information filtered in about what was occurring in Thistlehold and what was occurring in Ambria itself, it's becoming more and more like we may be surfing a wave of very ill times indeed. So Steo is not comfortable and not particularly happy, but is interested to see where we go. Also, New Earthmore, of the places we had to go and investigate, New Earthmore was of specific interest to Steo, who, never much of a good servant of Prios, has in his later years started to become a little bit interested in alternative spirituality, as it were, especially after getting kissed by an immortal spider demon from beneath Avokar. You should watch the older episodes if you want to. That was a steamy episode. But yeah, that's so we're now at New Earthmore, and that is its own kettle of ball games, as we say.
Yeah, absolutely. And probably should have said before, but Chris plays Steo. Steo is that curmudgeonly infantryman turned city guard turned fortune seeker that you can see there. Yeah, I like the way you described the Zanatha session as steamy, which will give you nightmares probably now. So thank you for that. But there we go. Okay, let's start bringing on the other players, and I'll delve into what happened last week. So first off, let's bring on John. Who plays Arendar, former, current sort of nobleman or wannabe nobleman, and kind of the conscience of the group. So yeah, last time when we picked up, you'd arrived at New Earthmore and entered into a pledge with another fortune seeker and his rough band of slightly thuggish individuals called Degesto. Because New Earthmore, which has a young lady called a leader in who you have to speak to, is currently under some form of very loose siege from a raiding party of northern clansfolk. And joining forces with Degesto seemed like a pretty good way to do it. And indeed, Arendar was involved in the negotiations. Isn't that right, John?
Negotiations is maybe a slightly elaborate term for it. It was more Degesta went, hey, let's team up. And Aaron went, well, you haven't tried to kill us, so you seem trustworthy. And that was about as far as his logic chain went.
Yeah, and that is basically an insight into the rather naive brain of Arendar right there. Let's bring on the next player, who's Mike. Mike plays Anton, Theurg of Prios, holy man and swinger of heavy wooden and metal objects. So essentially, the group had forged this pact with Degesto and went to New Earthmore's palisade, negotiated with who turned out, in fact, to be a leader's mother called Karala, who basically said, look, we don't like outsiders here. This is a local religious settlement for local people. But we'll let you in to talk to a leader if you defend the next assault on our walls. Which would involve a direct tangle with quite a few Gawain warriors, a troll, and what appears to be basically a mountain of a man. So you weren't overly keen, but at the same time, you were indicated to by another individual on the walls of perhaps a place where you might have a secret meeting and another offer might be put your way. How's Anton feeling about this whole New Earthmore thing, Mike? Since you're a priest of gods they're not fond of.
This whole thing sucks. It is it is terrible for Anton. Not only is he surrounded by bad religious people, he is also quite literally derobed because of this, which offers him even less protection in the upcoming shitfest that we're about to experience. So
yes.
Anton is scared.
Absolutely. And speaking of that shitfest, let's bring on Stephen, who plays Alindra, former Templar novice turned adventurer and fortune seeker. You had the meeting with the mysterious man on the walls, who turned out to be a gentleman called Morio, who was Elida's father, who offered an alternate solution. He said that he thinks that this mountain of a man leading the raiding party seems to be such a powerful warrior that if you manage to cut him down, the raiding party will leave. And if you ambush them, then maybe that saves you the horrible attrition of just trying to fight them off on open ground.
You take down the head baddie, all of the other baddies become goodies.
That's how it works. That's how these things work, as I'm sure we know from real life. Yeah. Let's bring on our final player, Sam, who plays Askarai, changeling scout and ranger. Yeah, so essentially you came up with this plan, the loose way of just crossing to the other side of New Earthmore to the raiding party's camp, using the river to do so on some canoes. You went into that camp under the cover of darkness. Degesto handed you all alchemical grenades, and then wandered off and set the entire camp on fire, it seems, through his the tube on his back, which was revealed to be an alchemical fire tube, which is like basically a cross between a grenade launcher and a flamethrower. And now there's quite a lot of wreckage, but a lot of Gowan warriors left. No current sight of Fundiber, presumably in his tent. A waking troll, a number of Digesto's fortune hunters, and you yourselves preparing to charge into battle and or throw grenades. And I think that just about covers it. And we're going to go straight into combat. Because let me tell you, folks, this is going to be a big old fight. And I'm going to have to do some calculation here. So I believe Askarai is the only one of you five without an alchemical grenade, because it was kind of agreed. Well, he doesn't need one. He'll probably do more damage with bow and arrow, right? So
I feel like someone else didn't take one because Revelia ended up with one.
Yeah,
okay.
Elindra didn't take one, but Revelia did.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't have one.
And you didn't have one. Okay. Did we not roll 4, or did you just not want one?
Just got left out. Just got picked last.
I can't remember how it worked out. There were 4, right? So Revelia, Aaron, Steo, and Digesto. Is that how it works?
Digesto doesn't have one. I think it was you.
Did we maybe just not trust Anton to not roll a 20?
We can retcon it where Steo took 2 if you want, because my accurate's 15, and I'm delighted.
Sure. I can't remember if we took, if I rolled 3 or 4, but
I think it was 4.
I think it was 4 as well.
Yeah, so that's one each, right? Except that you said Askarai didn't have one, and Revelia's got.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, Anton, do you want one?
It's going to be an action, right? I'd rather cast something instead.
Fair enough. Then Steo said he will take 2, so I guess Steo takes 2. And yeah, if your accurate is high, that's good. And as John maybe alluded to there, I just want to say that because none of you have alchemy or siege expert, or trapping, I think is the other one. Rolling 20s while throwing an alchemical grenade without training is real bad. So let's just bear that in mind.
I've got a feeling we're just not going to be getting any experience this session. I'm just throwing that out there because it's all going to get spent.
Maybe. Either way, Askarai. Right, I'm going to describe the scene to you now. A lot of the tents have been blown aside or on fire. The campfires themselves are scattered a little bit, but still burning. You can still see people. Everyone who is lying down on the ground asleep seems to be basically untouched because the wave of the explosion and the fire kind of roared. Digesto's a tall guy, and the cone kind of left people on the ground more or less fine. However, you would say that the majority of Gowans who are awake were hit by the blast because the cone was around 20 meters wide at its furthest extent. You can also see quite a lot of smoldering and kind of flaming underbrush, which I guess could turn into a bit of a situation. But most of the other individuals who were awake are wounded and on fire. So it's had quite an impact. Just to make things easier, I have split the Gowan warriors between yourselves and Digesto's men and women. So we'll have a pool of them for you and a pool of them for them. And you might have to cross over between them if, the Gowan warriors just tear apart Digesto's fortune hunters because their stats are a bit better. But they do have Digesto on their side as well. So that's kind of how we're going to do it. So at the moment, there are 5 standing Gowans who are looking to engage the fortune hunters and 5 standing Gowans looking to engage you. The troll is off to one side, untouched, but kind of looking up blearily, in a way which you wouldn't. If a human was woken by this, they'd be kind of rolling around and shouting and stuff. The troll just looks like it's, what's going on? but it certainly does look like it's about to get up and start causing trouble. You can't see any sign of Fundiber yet, but he is presumably in the tent. So,
Okay. I think since the troll hasn't got up yet, Asquare's got a bow. He's gonna think the troll lying down, I might miss. It's a big troll, but it's still like lying down. Probably a harder target. I'm gonna shoot one of the Gowan warriors who's awake and gonna cut. Looks like they're gonna come for our group of people.
Sure. Well, out of the ones that look like they're going to stagger towards you and try and kind of attack you, 4 out of the 5 of them are on fire. So, are you going for the one who isn't on fire or one of the ones who are? I suppose
I'm gonna go for the one that isn't on fire, hoping that the ones on fire will just, be put out of their misery by the fire.
Yeah. Okay, that seems fair. Well, the Gowans have a defense of -3.
Okay.
So apply that, please.
Okay, I will appoint the one that I'm shooting at as my hunter's instinct target.
Absolutely.
So I think I think I do have a hunter's instinct level 2 now, which gives me an extra D4 against them. Is that right? I think so.
I don't know. I'm afraid.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. And I get two attempts. I need a 13 if they have a. Oh no, yeah, I need a 13 because my vigilance is 6. I rolled a 17 on my first try, but I get another try. I rolled a 1.
Well, there we go then. So in that case, we get a. Well, that's like a critical hit essentially. Perfect hit, so you get plus D6 to the damage roll.
So I'm rolling a D10 plus a D6 plus a D4 from Hunter's Instinct plus 1 for a total of 16 damage. 16
damage. Okay, well, unsurprisingly, as your arrow hits home, you see that they have, in a similar manner to the Gowan scouts you saw, they have a complex-looking tattoo on their chest that flares up with a kind of sickly greenish blue as your arrow strikes and seems to provide them with some protection. So, did you say how much damage you said that was? 16.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so that's mitigated by that. I mean, obviously, that goes over their pain threshold. So, do you want to knock them prone or do another attack?
I'll do another attack.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I should have said this before, but I was planning to do 2 attacks anyway, thinking.
Yeah. Well, you didn't say that the armor wouldn't.
So yeah,
because I think we roughly settled last week on rune tattoos count when armor is bypassed, didn't we? It's the same as robust, or yeah,
I think
so.
I rolled a 10 on my second attack, which does 6 damage.
6 damage. Again, the rune tattoo flares. So this individual is like you've never seen someone more on their last legs. This individual has one of your arrows stuck through what seems to be his windpipe, and another one just protruding slightly from kind of his shoulder in a quite. You don't think it was a particularly good hit, but he is running forwards towards your group, screaming at the top of his lungs and desperate to kind of bury an axe in one of you as he presumably as he collapses.
Okay, Ascar is going to take his actual second attack on the same guy because that was the pain threshold attack.
Oh god, yeah, because you have I thought because you re-rolled that was it, but no, yeah. Good god. Okay. Go for it.
So I rolled a 14 on my first try, which doesn't hit, but I get a re-roll. And I rolled a 20 on my second. I guess the 20... I don't even know what we're doing about 20s.
Well, the 20 is a
the other person gets an attack, right? Or somebody on the enemy side gets an attack.
Yeah,
I think
because its range is a bit more complicated. Do they have ranged people?
Yeah, but you know what? I've said this guy is running forward as if this is the last act he has, and I think he's going to reach you and hit you. I think that's actually the far most narratively satisfying thing to happen here. Let's say he's also like the closest, right, of all of them, so he manages to run over and hit you. In which case, then, can we get? I think it's it's the standard stat blocks of everyone being plus 5. Yeah. So, give me a defense roll at -5, please.
Okay, I need an 11. I rolled a 19, so I do not succeed.
19. Okay. In which case, can you give me a defense, an armor roll, please? Sorry.
For armor, I rolled 5.
Ooh, not too bad. Okay. You feel the axe of the Gowan warrior like crunch into the side of your Haganor cloak with those lindworm scales protecting you from the axe actually cutting through. But with the last kind of burst of strength that this man has, he's hammered it into you. So you feel your ribs not break, but like you feel a rib move against the side of your rib cage, and take 2 toughness, please.
Ouch.
Okay, Fundiber's action is going to be easy, which is that he is going to emerge from his tent. He's not going to get an action this turn because that looks like. Now, will this be flickering when I put it up? We'll see. Oh my god. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that. Let me try and get that again. My friends. Why is NVIDIA GeForce overlay active? There we go. That's bad. I don't know what happened last time. He looks like this. He's probably nearing 7 foot tall. And, a good 3 or 4 feet wide. He is dragging behind him as he emerges from his tent. Right. You know how, if we're talking, I don't know how much we're familiar with different sizes of flail, but you know how the Witch King's flail in Return of the King is so stupidly big that no one could really wield it. That is essentially what Fundiber's hammer looks like. It looks more like it's used for, it's a fucking stanchion or a rebar for construction than it is an actual fighting weapon. But nevertheless, he lofts it up with both hands and looks around at his camp on fire, at his men horribly wounded and burning, and over at you at this mass of people arrayed against him in the night, come to try and shed his blood. And Fundiber smiles. Elindra, your turn.
Great. Well, so Elindra went into this fight very single-minded. Like, she is making a beeline for Fundiber. If there happens to be somebody stood in the way, I guess she's going to engage them on the way past. But
no, I think you can. Because his tent was a little way apart. I definitely think you can get to him if you want to immediately engage him.
Then that's what Elindra's going to try to do.
That's fair.
So
wonderful knowing you, Elindra. No, I'm just going to see if he's got any. Has he got any defensive stuff? I don't think he's got any, because I am going to have to just be very now here's a question. Your sword has long, yes?
Correct.
That's good, because he also has long, so he would have got an attack against you before you made contact. Otherwise,
so that means that neither of us get a free attack, and I'm just going to do a normal attack on him, right?
Correct. Absolutely correct. Spot on. So if you could make that, he doesn't have any other kind of factors for being attacked. All he has is a ridiculous panoply of attack things.
Right.
So his defense is at a -2.
-2. Okay, so I need
he's
a 13.
He's a little slippery. Little slippery.
I roll a 2.
Great.
So that's hit him.
Mhm.
I guess I did not get time to kick off the Revenant Strike, did I? Like my action is to move and to attack. So
Yeah.
damage is just D12 plus 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 6 in total.
6 in total. Well, he is definitely going to use his rune tattoo, which, as you saw, is like carved on the front of that kind of balding scalp of his, and that is going to flare. And after it's almost a flash. That's how kind of powerful it is, and leaves you kind of like seeing the shape burnt onto your eyes for a moment after it does so. And after that happens, your sword stroke hit. It hit the mail like that he's wearing under those kind of like that furred cloak. There is no visible sign of damage to him.
It's not the best first hit, but it is what it is, I guess.
Hey, it is what it is. And now we have Revelia's action, and Stephen has now bought Revelia as a companion, which is a sort of fudging of the rules we've done, in that you can have a servant who can do tasks for you but not fight, and you can have a pet that fights but doesn't do kind of complex tasks. We want Revelia to essentially be just an extra character that gains XP and stuff, who similar to how you have like flaming servants and stuff like that from mystical abilities. So we've just doubled the price of the boon and said 10 XP, she's a companion, and Stephen can roll for her. So what is Revelia going to do?
Okay, so Revelia's holding a grenade, right? One of these alchemical
Revelia
grenades.
is indeed holding a grenade.
So I guess what's in front of her in terms of targets?
Well, this is where there's a slight complexity to this. So what I'm going to say is, when you're throwing your alchemical grenades, you can choose 2 areas of focus, either the people fighting your group or the people fighting Tegesto's group. And then within that, you can either focus on the Gowans who still seem to be, they're not asleep anymore. Obviously, they're waking up, but they haven't got up yet. On the ones on the ground, or the ones staggering around, burning and coming for you. So basically, those are your 2 choices: your group or Tegesto's group. Ones who aren't in the fight yet, or ones who are in the fight yet. And
So
then there'll be an area effect thing as well. But yeah.
I think she's going to be aiming for the people facing up against our group, and I think she will be aiming at the ones who are still getting up rather than the ones that are already on fire.
Already on fire. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, in that case, can you give me, well, first off, because I don't have a precise picture of how they're laid out, there are 5 of them on the ground. Give me a D4 roll to see how many of them are potentially within the area of effect.
Sure.
So
3.
3. Okay, give me 3 accurate roll. No, because that's a weird thing. Because I
think it is accurate to throw it. It's that's you said that last session, which is specifically.
It is accurate to throw it, but then there is you basically have to roll for everyone within the area of effect. But then that seems weird for it to like. I don't know whether it's just like the first roll determines whether it blows up.
Yeah, do an accurate for the throw and then 3 different damage rolls.
No, you do have to roll to hit each of them individually. I do remember that much. I should have left the advanced player's guide open. I can find it.
So we do 3 accurate rolls to see how many of those 3 we hit.
Yes, I believe so. But let me do a double check here. Okay, so you aim at 1 target. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So do your first roll first.
Sure.
And it's got their defense as well, which is -3.
Wow. Okay. So Revelia's accurate is 10, so I guess she needs a 7.
Mm-hmm. And this first roll don't get a 20.
She got a 3.
Okay, so that first one hits. So that's great. So let's roll.
It was genuinely scary.
Yeah. First off, there's just a D10 damage.
Okie dokie. I need a D10. D10 damage. 10.
Wow. Okay. Well, that is. Is it past their pain? It is not past their pain threshold after we consider armor. actually. So no. And then you know what? Let's see if we hit them first, and then I'll roll for the other thing that I have to roll for with them. But yeah, go for another accurate roll on the next potential
Okay,
hit,
going
please.
for a 7 again. We get a 6.
Okay, lovely.
You want a damage roll for that?
Yes, please.
Okay, assuming that's D10 again, that's a 6.
Mm-hmm. That is a 6. Okay, that's reduced by that. And the final potential victim, please.
15. So that's a miss.
Okay, so that's a miss. Never mind. But in any case, Revelia's grenade falls down in the kind of remnants of a campfire and causes it to explode over two of the Gowans who are kind of staggering to their feet. They kind of topple off their feet again and start kind of like patting at the flames emerging on their clothes. So it's definitely a hit.
Nice.
Is she going to do anything with her move action?
Yeah, I guess she's gonna try to step in towards Fundiber.
She's going to engage Fundiber.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, it seems like what she'd do. Yep. So, Arindar.
Ooh, except Fundiber's got long and she doesn't. So how does that work? Does he get an attack even though he's engaged with Alindra?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Are you sure? I'm perfectly fine if you could have turned to her and said, "Don't try and fight the guy who's meant to be an absolute killer."
Like, I think she probably wants to back Alindra up, but I think she's probably also terrified. So I think maybe she will hesitate. She will be kind of sort of just outside engagement range, but kind of
sure
there in case anybody else tries to come and get involved.
Okay, so she's generally moving forward, but not engaging anyone specifically.
Yeah, waiting for an opportunity to engage in a safe way.
Sure,
there's such a way of doing that.
I think it will, because I think he only has long. He doesn't have Polearm Mastery, so I think it will be safe if he has had a free attack already that round.
Yeah,
against someone. That's correct, isn't it? You
that
get
sounds
one free attack. Yeah,
that sounds about right. That's going to require somebody else who doesn't have a long weapon to charge in first. But yeah, sure.
If that will work. Arindar, anyway.
Arin has been told to throw a grenade at a campfire, so that is what he's going to do.
Okay. At Degesto's group or your group, and sleeping people or not sleeping people?
I will say at our group, and throwing them at sleeping people feels mean, but it's probably best to throw it at the people not currently on fire. So I'm going to throw it to the sleeping group.
Okay. Can you give me first a D4 roll then, please?
3.
Okay. In that case, let's have your first accurate roll. It will be a -3. Don't roll a 20.
Okay. My normal target is 15, so aiming for 12. That's 2.
And a D10 for damage, please.
2.
Okay. Moving on to the next one.
That's a hit and another 2 damage.
Okay. Moving on to the next one.
But they are on fire, so I'm doing something helpful.
Well, are they? I think they have to be damaged to be set on fire, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Let me have a double check here.
There's another hit. 1 damage.
Actually, it doesn't say that they're not, so I'm going to say they are on fire.
Okay.
They just weren't damaged by the thing. So
Aaron got a defective grenade. There's not enough gunpowder in this one.
Fair enough. Yeah, you've got a bunch of individuals who are on fire. Let's say, like, basically what your grenade did. It actually, you said specifically that you were throwing into a fire. So
Yeah.
what you did was literally just did that. The explosion didn't actually affect anyone nearby it, but it did cause the campfire to spread itself over a wide area. And now there are some people with their clothes on fire. How about that?
Yeah,
That sounds right to me. In fact, one main person, like it basically spilled all over one individual who's like rolling around howling, and there's just a couple of other two with more with kind of little coals smoldering over them than anything else. What are you going to do with your movement action?
I will move forward to the approaching Gowans.
Okay.
And sort of
Are
take
you
a
engaged?
defensive...
Are you engaging any of them?
Am I engaging? Yes. Yeah, I will engage
So you'll
the
engage
closest
one of them.
Try and
You'll
keep
engage
them
the
away from
closest one.
Asker Eyes, my main thought.
Absolutely. You will engage one of them, and I'm assuming your cat is also engaging them.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. All right. It's now the turn of the Gowans. So there's 5 of them still alive and coming for you all. So what I'm going to do is fill up the group one by one in terms of proximity, which means 1 is going to come for Arendar, 1 is going to come for Revelia, and then I am probably going to just roll for the others to see where they go. So we've already got 1 with Arendar. Let's put another one on Arendar. Let's put another one on Revelia, which leaves 1 person, and I am just going to roll.
Is 1 not already on me?
They are already on you. Yeah, I'm not counting them, but there's 5 of them alive. None of them are dead yet. So let's see. Another one is coming for Askarai. So with that in mind, let's go down this list. We've got 2 attacking Arendar. Can you give me 2 defense rolls, please, at a -5, Arendar?
Okay, so I have a target of 9, which misses, but as in it... Sorry, I failed the defense, but I'm going to use my new acrobatics mastery. I'm going to do a quick roll, which is target 13, which I pass, which basically means I can use an enemy as a shield, so the attack that would have hit me hits the other Gowan.
Okay, then I guess we better resolve that one first, because that might result in death. So the first Gowan comes at you, and it was going to do a fairly straightforward strike that is that much damage, and I'm going to say the other individual doesn't trigger their rune tattoo because they do not see this coming. I think that's pretty understandable, right? So I've resolved that. That is wrong. That is right. The other one is still alive, so he's also going to swing for you. So, and then I'll describe what's actually happened. So go for your second defense roll, please, at -5. Okay.
Target of 9, which is a pass. So I'm going to roll to hit.
So you get another attack. Their defense is -3.
Target 13, which is a miss.
That's a shame. That would have been cool. But yeah, so these 2 Gowans run at you, howling and, it has to be said, smoldering. Sorry, there's so much maintenance I have to do here. You'll have to bear with me. The first one wildly swings his axe at you, and you drop. You tell me, actually, because this is the first time you've done it. Do you picture yourself sort of almost like judoing the other guy in front of you, or just like kind of dropping back to one hand and half tripping them into the blow, or how does it look? Just spinning round them, and I don't know.
I think, like, sort of as they're both coming towards me, Aaron just sort of ducks and moves towards the one that isn't attacking. So as the other one is like following through, trying to hit,
yeah,
then it goes
and
wild.
absolutely do that and make contact. Their axe biting into their fellow's chest, who stands back with a howl, with blood gushing down their belly and groin and pattering onto the forest floor. They're still alive for now, but both of them still have flames kind of like cascading across their shoulders and their arms. So both of them are like, the one who missed and hit their fellow is still looks pretty active. The one who actually was hit looks like he's on death's door.
Did it cross his pain threshold then?
No.
Okay.
No. Their pain threshold is 7. So he may have taken it may have been nearly 7 damage altogether, but that's the damage from the hit and the flames, and they don't count together. So
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they've now got a malice on them because of the.
No.
But no, cool.
Although I should remember the malice on things. Oh yeah, there should be a malice on the one fighting Ascarai, shouldn't there?
Yes.
Oh, which we didn't consider when we rolled. Well, never mind. Now we know. Now we know. They're both still on fire, by the way. So it hasn't gone out yet. Okay. Speaking of Ascarai, you are now flanked. So if you could give me, and this is the one with the malice on him. What's your so if you can, oh god, you have you are flanked, so you're going to have to roll a defense at -7, but for this first guy is rolling at a disadvantage, right? So
Okay.
you
Roll twice.
Yes.
I think that's right.
Yes.
So I need a 9. My defense is 16, which is very good at the moment. First one, I rolled a 14, so I don't make it. Second roll, a 10, so I still don't make it.
Oh. Okay, give me a armor roll, please.
Okay. 2d4. I rolled a 3. It's gonna be bad.
Okay. Yeah, that axe does more or less the same thing again on the same side, and you feel your rib break this time. Take 4 toughness.
Okay. 4 toughness.
And then
is
roll
my pain threshold, but not over it.
Okay. And then roll for the other guy's attack, which is at -7.
This guy could legitimately down me if he hits me good. Okay. I rolled a 6, so I make it.
Okay. The other axe whistles past your chest rather than making contact. So there we go. Okay. Who else we got? We got Revelia.
Yep.
So, could Revelia please roll defense at -5?
-5. So her defense is 14, so we need a 9.
It's a quick 14.
Yeah. She's
Nice.
She's quick 13 with the man at arms, and she's got a shield as well.
Right.
But she rolled an 11, so none of that did her any good.
No good. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I realized I gave you an NPC stat block, so you'll have to extrapolate for roll.
Yeah.
But what's her armor? Her armor's 4, right? Listed on there's 4.
Yes. I went
So
and found
a D8.
Yeah, it's a D8.
Yeah. If you want the shorthand, it's always half.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, she rolled an 8 on the armor.
Oh, well then. You know what? The Gowan is screaming and flailing, and the axe has definitely hit home, but you hear clangs rather than crunches, which is the noise you definitely want to hear when one of your companions is being hit. So you don't think the blow penetrated her armor. Okay, what I'm now going to do is apply. So that guy wasn't on fire, unfortunately for you. The one fighting Revelia has taken fire damage and is still on fire. Ditto for the one fighting, the second one fighting Ascarai. We have, oh my god, the people who are on fire on the ground are getting up. I'm just applying a lot of fire to them, you'll be happy to know. And that will be there. 2 of them are now not on fire. But what I'm going to do is now roll a d4 to see how many of the other Gowans are on their feet enough to act next round. 1. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
My
The
friend,
other 4
this is the support act. Just to remind everyone, there is a troll and a guy who's been described as murder with legs still to sort out.
I just in that moment realized that it wasn't like 10 Gowans, 5 per group. It was 10 Gowans currently active out of what? This is a camp of about 30 enemies, isn't it?
No, there are 20 Gowans here in the camp.
Okay.
10 of them are assigned to Degesto's group. 10 of them are assigned to your group.
Okay, but they're sort of getting up in bits and bobs.
In bits and bobs. That's the idea. The Gowans will also act now against Degesto's fortune hunters, and again, this is where I try to get out of simming combat. I think sometime at the beginning, almost a Wrath of the Warden, because I was like, it's too much. I'll just narrate it. It's fine. But when you have this much interplay, it's like. I think it would feel weird and sterile if I was just like, yeah, they're doing fine. And then at the end, it's like, yeah, if you win, they win. And if you know what I mean? So I'm going to try and do some stuff here. But you'll have to bear with me a bit. So let's spread a bit of the old damage round on the fortune hunters. I think that will be fine. Yeah, that's fine. That will do. Yeah, and then I'll calculate how much burning they have. And I do apologize for the viewers who are probably kind of, what the fuck is he doing? This is not good for an actual play, but I assure you there is method to my madness. And only one of their Gowans gets up as well.
Just pretend you're watching GURPS or Traveller.
Exactly. Okay. The troll is going to almost lazily get up and kind of look around with a sort of an expression on its face that's part hunger, part snarl, part glee, and is basically going to engage someone in the following round. It also tilts its head back and lets out a noise that I will allow all of you to roll vigilant to see if you understand the weird. Actually, no, none of you speak Gowan, and it would speak Gowan. So fuck that. No, never mind. Yeah, never mind. It said something presumably in Gowan, in a really weird, clumsy voice, as though its vocal cords haven't kind of fully developed yet. And now it's time for the fortune hunters to hit back, which, well, they do a lot less, it has to be said, than the Gowans, but there are more of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's do that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Okay, and that should do it. Yeah, cool. Actually, that will be there, and that will be there. Okay, Steo, a human doing a thing.
Imagine that. I'm going to enjoy some grenadiering, if that's okay.
You absolutely can. I would say that you now can't throw it at the Gowans engaging your group without hitting some of your companions. But you could or anyone engaging, but you could certainly throw it at those of your group or those of Degesto's group who are still not kind of fully up and running.
Or the troll.
Or the troll.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anything I can do with regards to the Gribblies, the big bads?
I mean, if you throw it at Fundiber, you will hit Alindra. or have a chance of
Okay.
hitting Alindra. But the troll is definitely on its own enough that you could try and just like, catch.
That
Alindra's a
sounds
big
like fun.
girl. Like it's
I mean, it's probably it's not looking good, Steve, but we're gonna try. But no, I'm going to go and attack the troll with the grenade.
Okay, so that's an accurate roll, and the troll has a defense of +7.
Oh god,
So-
20s or better.
Yeah, don't roll a 20.
Yeah, I did not roll a 20.
There we go. In that case, roll a d10 for me, please.
That's a delicious 9.
Nice. So that is reduced by that amount. And could you give me, please, a d4 roll?
2.
Okay, can you give me 2 more d4 rolls?
Oh god. 1 and 3.
Okay, that is the damage that the troll will take from fire on its subsequent turns. But your grenade kind of like went through the air and essentially like went fairly towards the troll, who reached out and kind of snatched it out of midair and sort of opened its palm to look at it, and then the grenade detonated. The troll is now howling and thrashing its arm around, sort of clipping trees nearby, one of which cracks and tumbles to the ground with a splintering sound, with kind of like smoke and flame pouring from its hand. It is looking at you with a very distinct glare in its eyes, Theo. That's all I'm going to say. Do you want to use your movement action to engage it?
No, what I want to use my movement action to do, and stop me if this is incorrect, but what I just did was an accurate roll. I want to also do a second accurate roll with my throw and steal to throw a knife at one of the attackers.
That would be 2 combat actions. So no, but you can move and engage with someone and get a free long attack as long as they do not themselves have a long.
Okay, so I will do that to the very sickly looking initial guy that Askrai very nearly killed but didn't, because someone needs to just get rid of that damage source.
Yes, free up Askrai to start pouring out some DPS. Yeah, absolutely. Well, then give me an attack roll at -3, please. Actually, it won't be at -3. It'll be at -1 because you are flanking him. So.
It's still an 18 on the dice, and that's not going anywhere, unfortunately.
It's not going anywhere. Okay, then. But you are now engaged with him, at least. So there we go.
Yeah.
Anton, save the day for us, man.
Anton is going to cast Blessed Shield, which, on the grounds that he doesn't have any armor going on, he might need some armor for this, and there's no of the New Earthmore people here to witness it.
Yeah. Also, your version of Blessed Shield lets you cast it on someone else as well, right?
Correct. Correct. If I make it. Let's find out.
Let's find out.
I do make it.
Awesome.
I got it.
So, notably, out of those, there was general glee, but I can't help but notice that both Sam and Stephen went at the same time, assuming each of them was going to receive the Blessed Shield.
No, I think it's better than the.
I think
I was very happy Anton succeeded a roll.
Yeah, I think whatever Mike chooses now, he's going to lose a friend. So,
well, the only sensible choice is to choose Arindar's pet cat.
Think of the canoeing, Anton. Think of all the canoeing time.
or just Blessed Shield yourself twice.
Hey, now that is an idea.
That's an idea.
This is a really dangerous fight.
Do you know what? I was going to go for Askrai for this, but seeing as Steo moved over to intervene in that general area, I'm going to instead go for Alindra.
Go for Alindra. That makes sense to me.
That's an extra D6 for Alindra.
D6 for Alindra. That will probably be very much appreciated.
Oh, yes.
So with that in mind,
I think. Sorry, can I just say for a movement action, if I still have one, if I could move a little bit closer to Askarite as well, actually, just because definitely want to do anything I can to.
Do you want to like engage one of the individuals?
Can I engage like on this turn?
Yeah, you can move in and engage. Yeah, you just can't attack.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure. So we'll say that first individual is engaged by Steo and Ascarai, and the second one is engaged by Anton and Ascarai. That seems fine to me. And now they're flanked. They're both flanked as well, so that's good. Okay. Last person to go is Degesto, who is going to wade into those Gowans fighting his fortune hunters. He's going to do that wielding the fire tube as if it was a hammer or a very large mace. As he does so, that is indeed that. Are there any of them who he can? Yes, there is. He is going to kind of like walk up quite in quite a plodding fashion behind one of them who's sort of defending themselves against two of the fortune hunters, and literally just as he does so, kind of like drop the fire tube down, swing it overhead, and crack it down onto the man's skull, which crumples like an eggshell. So that's unbelievably, that's the end of our first round. First blood all the way at the end of first kill at the end of that first round. So there we go. Let's go back round to the beginning. So Ascarai, you, my friend, are engaged by two individuals, but counterintuitively, both of them are flanked by different people. The one fighting you and Steo is that very first one you hit, who's somehow still like you're pretty sure he can't breathe with an arrow in his windpipe, but it doesn't seem to be providing much of an obstacle to him. And the other one is engaged by Anton, who's a bit less damaged, but he's on fire. So you know,
Askarai's going to try and he's going to draw his sword and try and kill the one he's shot, the more damaged one who's not.
Yeah. Absolutely. Does Hunter's Mark count with melee?
And only for ranged.
Okay. Well, he is flanked, so go ahead and roll the defense. Your attack will only have -1 to it.
Okay. Are they normally -3? Because I have feint, which already gives me advantage. So I don't.
Okay.
2 advantages, I think.
I don't think there's 2. No, I don't think there's 2 advantage. So they are normally -3. Yeah.
Okay. I rolled a 5, so that does hit. And it's
and add a D4 as well for flanking.
Okay, it's a D8, a D4 +1. Which is a total of 6 damage.
6 damage. Well, you know what? That rune tattoo will flare to try and deflect it. But as your sword pulls back, you're not sure you cut that deeply. But you see that the blow has kind of knocked that arrow to one side, and blood and ichor is kind of gushing out of the man's throat. And he drops to first one knee and then the other, and then on his face on the forest floor. First kill for a player character. Go you. Are you doing anything with your movement action? You are still engaged.
I think my movement would have been to draw my sword in any case.
Oh, yeah,
I probably would have moved anyway.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Fundiber. So let me get this right. Because as I say, he's got a lot of stuff going on. Now, you don't have a shield, do you, Stephen?
No.
You do not have a shield. So he is just going to make he has 2 attacks. So he's going to make the first one. And I don't think, let me just double check here. I don't think he can. Yeah, I don't think there's any extra stuff. Oh no, the weapon is precise, so that will be an extra. Fuck me. Okay, make your first defense roll at -7, please.
Holy.
It's a hammer the size of a minivan. How does it get the precise trait?
It has massive, long, unwieldy, and precise.
Mother
How
of
is something
God.
unwieldy and precise? Okay, well, so defense is 13, so that's maths. I need a 6, right? That's a 17. I am going to spend my first and only available XP of the session to try and re-roll that one.
Sure.
That's it. That's me out of... and it's a fail. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's any comfort to you, he has 2 ways in which he can re-roll a miss anyway.
Right.
So that is a hit. Can you roll armor at disadvantage, please?
Remind me what disadvantage does in terms of armor rolls.
Roll twice and take the lower.
Okay. So it's
That's
D8,
massive,
but is it plus the D6 for the blessed shield as well?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
But that D6, don't roll that at disadvantage. That makes sense.
Okay.
It's not. It's mystical.
The worst out of 2D8 rolls is a 2.
Okay, and how'd you do on the D6?
Let's roll a D6. It's a 3.
Okay. And I'm asking this, but I know it won't be. What's your pain threshold?
8.
Yeah, okay. So Fundiber's hammer, again, when you engage him, you expect him to you've seen men wield weapons almost the size of this, but with, great sweeping slow circles to try and drive people back. Fundiber is fighting like he was holding a short sword. You've honestly never seen anything like it. And by the time you kind of register the kind of disbelief of this, the hammer cracks directly on onto your breastplate near your shoulder, and you feel like you've just been, a battering ram has just impacted against you. You definitely feel a rib creak. You feel like horrible bruising immediately, and the breath is drawn out of you. Take 5 toughness, please. And then I'm going to have to ask you to roll your second defense at -7, please.
-7. That is a killer. Ooh, passed that one. Got a 3.
Nice. Let me see what he does to try and hit again.
Yay.
So, yeah, okay. So, could you roll strong, please, at -6?
Strong at -6, so I need a 9. I get a 19.
That's not a 9.
It is not.
So after the next hammer blow whistles past you, you kind of try and step forward to go into his guard again. But unbelievably speedily, he grabs the shaft of his kind of hammer with the other hand, brings it round back in front of you, and it rams into your chest. Not hard enough to cause damage, but enough to cause you to stagger. And in the space of that staggering, he's going to attack you again.
Damn.
So
defense
if you could,
-7.
Yep, defense -7, please.
Pass that one. That's a 2.
You passed it. Yep. Wonderful. Now he's going to use two-handed force to try and get you on the backswing. Could you make another defense roll at -7, please?
Sure. 4. That's a pass.
So that's a pass. That misses.
Wow, and he could just do this every round, can he?
Every round.
Holy moly.
Every round he can do one. That's called like a hammer ram or a hammer something like that. This is an ability called hammer rhythm, by the way. Yeah, every time he misses with a hammer or once a turn, I think. Oh no, it's any successful defense. Basically, if he misses, he can do the hammer ram to try and get another attack. And if that misses, he's got two-handed force, which he can just use to try and do a backswing. The backswing only does 4 damage, but still.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you got away pretty fucking lightly in that. So there we go. But now we know how dangerous he is. Revelia. I'm assuming you're not taking. Oh no, that was his turn. Elindra, now it's your turn. You strike him.
Yes, yeah. Let's try to hit the gigantic man.
He's flamey death thing. Is that a movement action or a combat action?
The Revenant Strike.
Yeah. To ignite it.
It's an action, by which I assume that means a combat action as opposed to
a
if it
movement
says action.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, unfortunately so.
So I can't turn that on without stepping out of engagement with him, and that's not gonna happen. Now we're in.
You could still do it, just you won't get an attack.
I don't know how many more rounds of that I can take, so I think we're just gonna.
That's fair enough.
Gonna try.
Well, he's a lot easier to hit than he is to avoid, because his attack, his defense is only a -2. So,
okie dokie. So we need a strong 30. Yes, I just scraped a successful attack.
Nice.
Damage is D12 plus 1. 13.
That's a lot better. Okay, he's naturally going to use his rune tattoo there on that one, and he is going to. So that does that plus that 13. Did you say?
Yep.
Okay, so that reduces it to that. You weren't right on the verge of his pain threshold, but it was certainly sort of approaching.
That is literally the most damage I can do without turning on the Revenant Strike. So
in all this like ridiculous swinging of the hammer coming at you again and again and again, at a certain point, I think you almost commit yourself to being hit. And when you find yourself in a position where you are miraculously not hit a second time, you manage to sort of stab out with your blade, desperately trying to get some distance from this guy. And his hammer in all this, like, swinging and like this whirlwind of strikes against you, manages to not deflect it. And your blade pierces into his hip really quite deeply. You feel your blade scrape against metal and come out the other side. You feel like his cloak tangling the edge of your blade as it comes out the other side, and you withdraw it. It's a blow that would down most people. If anything, his grin becomes wider. He starts to let out a manic cackle and is growling at you in his I guess not, if you were in your original Templar kind of mode, I might call it a heathen tongue, but I guess you're a bit more accepting of these things nowadays. In Gowan, you have no chance of understanding, but he's clearly enjoying what's happening.
Cool. I think as a free action in the midst of this combat, Elindra is going to start verbally praying to probably Prios and the Earth Mother, kind of simultaneously.
Yeah, you're defending her settlement, right? So It makes sense. Okay. Revelia is in combat with a Gowan.
She certainly is.
Yep, so if you can attack, roll an attack for her at a -3, please.
She misses.
Okay.
That's sad.
That is sad, but she's holding her own against. She's occupying one of them, which, if nothing else, So Aaron Dar, you're in combat with 2 of them, but you're not flanked because of Cat. So the one of them looks very near death. The other one, not so much. Which one are you attacking?
Conventional wisdom would tell me to attack the more injured one, but I seem to be pretty good at getting them to hit each other. so I'm going to attack the more healthy one.
Also, one of them's near death and they're both on fire.
Yeah, that too.
When in doubt, let the dot take care of it, right? Sure. So that's an attack at -3, please.
Okay. Target of 13, which is a hit, but only 3 damage.
Only 3 damage. Well, I am afraid that they don't even need the rune tattoo to take care of that. Your saber whips across them, but you don't seem to be able to penetrate the kind of very light mail and furs that they're wearing to any significant degree. Are we doing anything with our movement action?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, with that in mind, then, it's the Gowan's turn. So, let's take care of the two fighting Arindar first. Can you roll a first off a defense at -5, please?
Okay. Target of 9. Rolled a 2, so that is a success.
Which means you get a free attack, right?
Yep.
Okay,
The
go ahead.
-3, which is a hit and is 8 damage.
That's much better, isn't it? I think they will use the rune tattoo. That seems to be a thing they should do. 8 damage, did you say?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, your saber this time, it's the same guy that you just kind of, didn't manage to damage while striking. And this time, kind of your sword draws a crimson line across their chest as they make the same kind of, they come at you in exactly the same way they did before, and you strike in the same way. And this time, you managed to get your blade past their defenses.
Clearly, my first hit was a feint.
Clearly, absolutely. Okay, the second guy, the guy at Death's Door, again, a defense at -5, please.
Okay, target of 9, which is a fail. Roll against quick, which is a pass.
Nice. Okay. In that case, yeah, I'm going to say again, not triggering the rune tattoo because they don't see it coming. In which case, how did I sort this? Yeah. Oh, do you need to roll for their attack, or do they just hit them? They just hit them, right?
Just hit, because they've already effectively rolled to hit me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there, as they kind of come for you and you step back, the axe slams into their fellow's chest. Again, now you're facing two of them on Death's Door, and both of them kind of like stagger back. And I think we agreed that both of them had kind of wounds in their chest. They're pouring at those, and they both kind of like stagger a few steps away from you and start to collapse onto the ground as the flames reach. Kind of one of them is kind of coughing, with the damage that's presumably been done to his lungs and the smoke. It's all too much, and he collapses onto the floor. The other one, those flames reach his head, and his hair becomes a guttering candle as he screams and staggers off a short way into the woods, presumably to die where it's a bit more quiet.
Not if you keep screaming like that, it will.
Well, no, that's true. So both of them are dead. You've got a movement action if you want.
Okay, so there's the Ascarai, Steel, and Anton party. There's Revelia with one Gowan. There's a troll that's running towards Steo, and there's Fundiber
and
who will
Elindra.
Probably kill me as soon as I approach him.
He would get a free attack on you, yeah. Also, there is a Gowan who's up and about but isn't engaged yet, who will undoubtedly engage someone. Oh no, it's not your turn.
Oh yeah,
How am I talking about? It's the Gowan's turn. How stupid. Elindra, could you please roll a defense for Revelia at -5, please?
Revelia at -5, yes. That's a fail.
Okay, then armor, please.
That's D8. 4.
Okay. You hear a kind of cry of a restrained cry of pain as Revealer is struck for. Did you say she rolled 3 on her armor?
4.
4. She's struck for 3 toughness. What's her pain threshold?
That is a good question. 8.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. So I am going to 8 is really good. I am going to determine randomly whether the Gowan fighting Anton and Askarai fights Anton or Askarai, and it's going to be Anton. So Anton, if you could roll defense at -5, please.
Nope, I don't make it.
Okay, armor, please.
5.
5. That's not bad. Because you don't have your robe, right? But you've got your blessed shield. So the Gowan's axe kind of slows as it comes through Prios's shield over you, that kind of glittering and the kind of sundog effect we've talked about numerous times, kind of like almost lighting up the air around you a little bit as it does so. The blade does make it through and kind of carves its way along your upper arm, but not deeply. Take 2 toughness, please. Okay, and then we've got an extra Gowan who is going to engage someone. I'm just going to make it again random because he's on fire, so he's not thinking terribly clearly, but he's probably going to run to engage someone who's not currently engaged. So I think he's going to go for Steo. Which was probably a mistake.
Am I being engaged?
So, can you roll your free attack then, please, Steo, at -3?
So, my target number is 15, 14, 13. 12 is the target, +1 for precise is 13 or less. 5!
Okay, let's have that damage roll, please.
Certainly, and that is him disengaged, FYI.
Yeah.
4 + 1 because of deep impact is 5.
Okay. That Gowan, essentially kind of like having stumbled to his feet in flames, kind of reels round, just kind of sees the first non-Gowan who isn't currently fighting someone, rampages towards you, kind of whirling the axe around his head, and literally just straight up impales himself on the end of your spear as you bring it up. He looks down in some confusion at the ancient bronze spear emerging from his chest cavity and crashes back onto the ground, dead.
On 5? Oh, the fire! Oh, that poor toasty friend.
It wasn't the fire, but I just didn't have him trigger his rune tattoo because he was on fire and charging, and yeah, it didn't. He was pretty banged up already. He was pretty like he'd had a grenade. He'd had a grenade hit him directly, so he was fairly messed up. I will now roll a d4 to see how many more Gowans get up for the next round to engage with you guys, and that's going to be again just one of them. The others are too concerned, kind of trying to put themselves out, I suppose. And I will inflict a bunch of fire damage on them all. Well, not them all, but some of them. And then we are going to have a bunch of damage done by the Gowans against the Fortune Hunters. Yep. And that's that. Yep. Excuse me.
Sorry, if anyone's watching this on YouTube, we're laughing at Twitch chat, which is popping off right now with some traditional Steel's spear has no story memes.
Wonderful. Yep. 4, and that's an extra 1.
Do you mind if I throw a couple of comments up while you're rolling, Matt?
No, go for it. You know what? That sounds like a really good idea, John.
Thank you in solidarity.
You do need to read them out though for people listening.
Confused at how little backstory the spear that impaled him had, and it's the spear of killing that one Gowan dude that one time.
Nice. Very nice. Another one of the Gowans fighting the Fortune Hunters has succumbed to flames. Okay, I think that's all of them. And now we got the troll. I mean, we've got the troll.
Oh.
So that troll is going to thunder over the intervening ground between itself and Steo, and is going to strike at him, or try to strike at him. But I'm assuming we're doing a bit of fending.
Yes. Is he coming at me with a long? Because that would ruin my day.
That would, you know what? I will double check, but I don't think his arms are listed as. No, they're in fact listed as short.
Oh, he's just literally windmilling at me like some kind of battle mech. Okay.
Yeah.
He certainly didn't mention that he was holding anything. Like he's just.
No.
It's a slap fest.
I think Chris's idea was maybe the arms are themselves long because it's so huge. But no, it doesn't count as long. So in that case, Theo, give me an attack at +7, please.
20s are better.
So I think
5.
like barring, yeah, because that you're going to fend him off either way, but he might get a free attack on you first if you roll a 20. I think.
Yeah, and I don't think my skill would proc if I didn't succeed at the roll. So I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, I think it would succeed, but yeah. Anyway, let's roll damage for him then, mate.
4 + 1 is a disappointing 5.
Okay. Your blade, or I suppose your spear tip, kind of jabs up at the creature's face as it comes kind of howling and raging at you. And it just goes it pokes enough to bleed only slightly, like maybe on just like the bridge of its snubbed nose. And it kind of rears back, kind of pouring at its face, with one hand on fire as well. You haven't hurt it much, but it's certainly not happy about what's happening and is, again, backed out of engagement with you. So you can do the same thing again next turn. Okay, feel free to crack some comments up on screen, John, because I am once again doing the Fortune Hunters attacks.
There's Lauren asking, have we ever seen a troll before?
Which we certainly have. Technically, Steel's only doing this quest because a troll was upset. Oh, no, that's an ogre.
That's an ogre.
I don't think we have seen a troll before.
I don't think you have seen a troll before.
How dare you
reckons we may have seen one.
Ogres?
No, that was an ogre.
It was an ogre. Okay.
Ogres are more humanoid and kind of just like long-limbed, tall, rangy, powerful. Trolls are like more hulking. They are very similar to the troll in like Fellowship of the Ring and stuff. They're kind of like hulking, beastly creatures with kind of scaly skin. And they do look humanoid, but like a lot more kind of bestial,
big ugly
and strong.
lads.
And, yeah. that is the idea. Excuse me while I do a bit of the old. What am I doing here? Feel free to pop up some more, John.
I'm just finding relevant ones. There's Don't Cook Food saying this is by far the largest conflict I've seen on this channel.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I think it's more threatening than Cylindra's Hope because everyone here is like, those rune tattoos are disgusting. It's like every mook is taking like 3 or 4 proper A-team roster hits to put down.
Once we get Ascarai freed up, I think we'll
well, you see, this is the problem. I think generally our combats end up being Ascarai gets his ranged couple of turns, but once Ascarai gets into hand-to-hand, I don't think we've ever disengaged Ascarai back to a position where he's been shooting again. But let's find out, because we're not frequently in combats where a whole round takes an hour.
This is true. Other things... Steve says he's having flashbacks to hordes of xenomorphs swarming over the barren landscape of Gehenna.
Sounds familiar.
It's probably less administrative work to do system-wise, though.
So the of the Fortune Hunters fighting the Gowans, the numbers are now on their side because, Degesto down one, Fire has taken another one. They're kind of gathering around them in groups of 2 or 3 and hacking at them. And even though the Gowans seem to be much more competent at fighting than they are, the weight of numbers is telling. You see another one of them dragged down and hacked apart by them. And I suppose I never actually rolled to see how many of them kind of stand up. Ooh, 3 of them have now stood up to engage the Fortune Hunters, which is probably unfortunate for them. But that's fine. Who is next? Steo, my friend. I'm assuming you're engaging the troll and then poking it back again, or trying to poke it back again.
Do you know what? I think the mechanics of that work out in my favor, even if I let it go to the next round and don't bother at this turn, unless I'm unlucky and it picks someone else.
I mean, I think the mechanics definitely sit well for you because it's +7 attack. Like, you're going to hit it.
Yeah, that's true. The problem is the actions are so valuable, and here's what I'm thinking. While I have a moment in this combat, how many are still engaged with Ascarai?
Just the one, I think, right?
You have one that's
Okay.
kind of fighting Antom as well.
Yeah.
I would.
You're thinking of engaging with them as well?
No, what I'm thinking of doing is throwing, because my throw is then a combat action. That allows me to do a small amount of damage to them. I then get a movement action, which allows me an engagement, which then procs all of the rest of my stack.
Ooh, nice.
And so that's why it costs 30 XP.
Yeah. So you're going to throw... You got a throwing knife, is that it?
Yes, we've got some tribes people made throwing knives.
Okay, so in that case... that'll just be an accurate roll with a -3 to throw at that individual.
That's 12. Oh no, disastrous. 18.
Oh well. And then are you moving to engage with the troll and getting a spear in on it, or are you doing that with the one you threw your knife at?
Do you know what I am? Because that means no. Because if I disengage it doesn't disengage from Ascarai necessarily.
No, it won't do it. It will just be that you're not engaged.
Okay, it's already got 2 people on it. I think I think I'm laying out to the side. I'm going after the troll.
You've flung a knife off into the darkness. You probably don't even know whether it hit or not at this stage because it's chaos. So you're engaging with this big raging troll. I mean, roll to hit. I mean, you will hit, right? But let's see if it gets a free attack or not. Yep. So roll for damage.
6.
6. That's a little bit better.
Chipping away.
Yeah. So you jab at the troll again, and this time your spear rakes across its shoulder, drawing some blood. But again, it's definitely still up on its feet, but it's starting to kind of, you can hear a kind of cacophonous, grating wheezing coming from its chest as it's obviously starting to feel the grenade and the jabbing and the fire and the everything. Essentially. Okay, Anton, you are engaged with the Gowan warrior.
I'm just going to keep it simple and try and flail.
Sure. Do you need to roll to sustain your blessed shield, or is it that's
no,
once
last
up?
Until the scene ends. Yeah.
Cool.
So I missed, but I rolled an odd number, which kind of activates the secondary effect. So it's 1d6 of damage, and I roll a 2. Which is not very good.
Yeah, that doesn't get past its armor, I'm afraid. But you do hear the thump of your flail hitting, at his, wrapping around and crashing against his back. But no apparent damage has resulted. Degesto is going to continue working his way through these Gowan warriors, who are fighting the men and women under his command. And let me just see if there's someone. Oh God, yeah. Another one. There is a sickening crunch that you can hear even over the chaos of the battle as another Gowan warrior, with this time with a huge kind of roundhouse swing. He brings his fire tube to bear, and kind of a Gowan's falls to the forest floor with their head at a very unhealthy looking angle from their body, and crashes to the ground. Okay, that's the end of round 2. I will obviously not. We're not going to like be fighting to the last person here because we'd take a long time. But obviously, I think it's safe to say we haven't won this fight yet. So we will carry on. And I'm sorry, I always feel like apologizing for like entire combat sessions because I feel like it must be really boring or something. But people are watching and commenting, so I'm assuming this isn't boring. Tell us if it is, or if it isn't, or really, if it is, lie and tell us it isn't.
Yeah, actually, please.
That would be good. Askarai, still not at range. But you're facing this one guy who apparently won't die.
Yep. I'm gonna try and stab him. That's my best option.
Absolutely. Give me an attack roll at -3, please. Okay. Oh, is he flanked? No, he's flanked. -5.
I rolled
-1.
I rolled a 2.
Okay.
It's a hit.
Didn't matter either way. Go on.
And I rolled 8 damage.
8 damage. Okay, he is going to use his rune tattoo. So that deflects that much. You stab out with your sword and you feel it kind of pierce into his arm quite deeply. And when you withdraw it, kind of flecks of hot blood kind of flick over your neck and your face. He's definitely seems the worse for wear at this point. So, yeah. Anything with your movement action? I'm assuming not.
No. I do wonder, this is just I'm not going to do this, but since he last hit Anton, could I move away and would he still get a free attack?
Yeah, he'd still get a free attack, so you're still engaged. You can do it, though.
I probably won't. I'll stay put and help Anton fight him.
That's fair enough. Okay, the person we've all been waiting for. Okay, Elindra.
Here we go.
Give me that first defense, please, at a -7.
-7 is just grim. That's brutal. A fail.
It's brutal. Okay, give me an armor roll, and don't forget your extra d6.
So, is it just the one armor roll?
No, double... yeah, sorry, it's at disadvantage. Yeah, the d6 is not at disadvantage, but your base armor one is.
Sure. My worst d8 roll was a 4, and we get a 6 on the d6.
Hey, pretty fucking good. Fundiber's armor, Fundiber's hammer rather, crashes against you, but now you know what to expect, and crucially, you can roll with the hit. And as it starts to impact you, you kind of tilt to the side and let the armor kind of like take the weight of the blow as the hammer like rakes across the steel. It sends sparks flying up into your face, but crucially, not kind of contused flesh and blood. 0 damage. And in a way, that's better than him missing because he doesn't now get to roll again. But he does get a second attack. So... another defense at -7, please.
Another defense at -7. No. That's a fail.
That's a hit. Again, armor and blessed shield, please.
Okay, worst case armor is it again? Well, I know that's
yeah,
a 1.
It is worst case armor. Yeah.
Oh god, that's 3 armor in total that time.
Oof. Well, luckily for you, his second blow is always weaker than his first. So again, kind of you move away having rolled with that blow. You don't wear a helm, do you?
No.
No. So I'm going to say he doesn't get the full force of this, but basically as you roll to one side, he twists the hammer in his hand and just brings it sharply up, scraping up that until it crunches on your chin. You feel your kind of chin slammed upwards. You feel teeth break in your mouth. And kind of shards and blood kind of like run out over your chin. You also feel like pain flushing up your face. You suspect he also broke your nose with the same blow. That's 5 toughness.
Oof. Right.
Yeah.
Done?
He's done.
Cool. We need our glass cannon back. We need our glass cannon back.
Before I counterattack, I am going to kick off. I'm going to attempt recovery, which is a sort of magical healing that specifically can just happen instantaneously in the middle of combat. I have to roll against Resolute.
Also, sorry, he used his rune tattoo started glowing, and you got the distinct impression that the jab in his side that you made was slightly smaller than it was before.
Okay, he's pulling similar tricks. Okay, so I passed the Resolute roll. Okay, I recover 1d4 toughness, which is 3. So we're doing that. There's still no way to turn on the Revenant Strike and attack him, right? So
no, not on the same turn.
I think we're just going to have to
go. What is your recovery thing called again?
It's called recovery.
Well, there we go. Then that would. I'm just interested in reading the wording of it.
It's you got a successful dice roll against Resolute, regain 1d4 toughness. But no,
I'm just mildly surprised it works in combat. That's all.
That's
I believe you.
But that's like its special move. It's just like
but it's once per day, right?
It's once per day. Well, you can make as many attempts as you want, but it's one successful recovery per day. So I'm not doing that every round or anything.
Yeah.
So
You'd be surprised because I'm the one who recommended it to you all.
Yeah,
I was like, this is really fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let's attack the bad man in his bad face.
Absolutely. Well, his bad face is at -2, so
-2. Okay. Yep, that's a hit. Needed a 13. I got a 12.
Okay.
So we're D12 plus 1 damage. 2 damage.
2 damage.
Bad times.
Absolutely. Well, he doesn't need to trigger his rune tattoo for that one. Your sword, your counter blow that swings against him, you're not seeing right. You've just had several teeth and a nose broken, and you slash out, and the tip of your blade gets caught in his fur cloak, I'm afraid. So there we go. No movement action, I'm assuming. So
no. Well, yeah,
don't
I'm not
fancy
going to give him a free.
No. Yeah.
I love how specifically before we went in, the plan was forget everything else, go for the big guy. Yeah.
But he's got a big hammer, and we're scared.
Same.
To be fair, up until this round, almost all of them have been engaged. So it's about downing what they've got. And I'm pretty sure I was worried. I was thinking there is a possibility that Askrai will just down this guy in from range, just basically kite him.
I'm still banking on that possibility.
Yeah. You're doing all right. You're doing a lot better than he could easily hit kill.
Oh yeah. I've been lucky so far, but every round is going to be touch and go with this guy.
It's going to be grating. Yeah. Anyway, Revelia is still fighting. So yeah.
What's the attack again?
-3.
-3. Yeah, that's a successful attack, and Revelia is a D8 damage against this Gowin. It does a 5.
Yep, that will do it. So you hear a triumphant cry, Elindra, from Revelia, kind of quite nearby you, that couples with a sort of noise that's definitely not Revelia. So she seems to have downed her opponent.
Fantastic. I am also going to have Revelia step up and step into engagement range with Fundiber.
Okay. Well, in that case, he's going to get a hit.
Sure.
Because his thing is long. So can you roll a defense for Revelia at -7, please?
Yep. That's a fail.
Okay. Can you roll a armor for Revelia, please?
Yeah, she's D8 armor, right?
Mm-hmm.
5.
Okay, that's not entirely bad. You hear kind of the padding of Revelia's feet as she comes to try and engage this monstrous foe with you, and almost kind of without thinking, the kind of with the haft of his hammer, Fundiber swings round and smashes Revelia kind of like in the sternum and sends her like staggering back, coughing and wheezing for 3 toughness.
3 toughness. Is she now
Big hit is only
engaged?
once per round. She is now engaged with him, yes. Yeah, he doesn't have polar mastery or anything like that. It's all it's just that. So
Nice.
yeah, there we go. Okay, Arindar, you are unengaged. There is an individual fighting Antom and Askarai. There is another Gowan who looks like they're going to charge in this round. There are 3 on the floor, and there is obviously Degesto's crew fighting their own bunch. I would be hesitant not to point out that Fundiber has used his long attack.
Yep. I'm going to say while he was beating back Revelia, Aaron slipped round the other side.
Absolutely. And you can charge in and try and get a hit on him with advantage. So that is a flat roll.
That is pretty good. Yeah, okay. Oh my god. I'm spending an experience point.
Did you just roll a 20?
Yep. I mean, no, I didn't, because I spent an experience point.
Don't want to get that free attack.
Oh my god.
Seriously?
Really?
Did you just roll 2 20s in a row?
Yeah.
Amazing.
guys.
Okay, then. Please roll defense at -7.
Oh, -7, and there's no enemies around, so I can't use acrobatics. Okay. That's a pass.
Okay. In that case, can you roll strong at a -6, please?
That is a target of 4, which I hit.
Oh, okay then. Essentially, as you kind of run over, kind of, I imagine like Aaron is coming in kind of quite low, kind of like moving as fast as he can, kind of trying to maybe get in a sort of stab. Fundiber either heard you coming or his combat senses just honed to a knife edge, because he kind of spins round and slams that head of the hammer at you, and you meet it with the basket hilt of your blade, not like punching into it, that would break your hands, but like just kind of hold against it for a second, and he heaves forward, and you don't know where you find the reserves of strength, but you hold your ground. He spits out some kind of Gowan curse and lifts the hammer off away from you and kind of takes 1 step back, kind of wheeling it round his head and forward against the 3 of you as you close in on him.
As he lifts the hammer, I take my riposte opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Is it? Yeah. So he had his... Yeah. Okay, yeah. That all makes sense. I guess he should try and get his backhand on you, right? First,
no,
though.
can he do that if I
do that
pass
if he
the
doesn't?
strength test?
They're just abilities. It doesn't... Gets a free attack against the enemy.
Well, that'll never work because Arundar isn't an enemy. Arundar is a friend.
You know what? I'm going to say, oh God, shit. Yeah, no, I think he does. I think, but that's a reaction. Okay, I think you get yours and then he gets his.
Okay.
That's what I think.
So what's my hit? It's flat, isn't it?
It's just flat, yeah, because he's flanked.
That is not a 20. That's a 7,
That's good.
so that's a hit. And that is 12 damage on my D12.
Ooh! Well, he's definitely going to use his rune tattoo, I'll tell you that much. 12 damage, you say? So that's that. Yeah. So you as he wheels round, you take the opportunity. You are faster than he thinks you are. And you know that because as the hammer comes around for a backhand swing against you, you duck underneath and just jab upwards. The end of your sword pierces under Fundiber's chin and up kind of through his cheek. You kind of slash his face open and blood kind of pours out, soaking into that sort of tangled red beard. And with a roar of frustration and pain, he backswings that hammer at you. Can you make another defense roll, please, for at a -7?
That is a fail.
Okay. Give me an armor roll, though, please.
6. 7.
Okay, yeah. The hammer makes contact with you, but it doesn't have a huge amount of force in it, or at least not as much as its usual swings seem to. And it just sort of crashes against your lamellar plating on your side, and yeah, your armor absorbs the blow essentially. There we go. Whoa, we are cooking now, folks. Which also means, because he's taken half of his over half of his toughness, his feat of strength now kicks in. So he has a second chance to pass all tests against strong, which means that opposed strong roll, you're now rolling that at disadvantage.
What level feat of strength is that?
I don't know.
That's amazing.
Adept, I would assume. It's either
Wow.
novice or adept, because he only has adept. So
Is this guy just made of XP?
he is a legendary warrior of the Gowans. So like, it's not. It's not.
Are the rules in
it's not too
Symbaroum for
unusual.
Diablerie? Because I want some of this.
Lovely stuff.
Does he attack with strong, or is that? I guess we're already at disadvantage.
Oh yeah, he does. You're right. So
Why did you remind him?
I thought he was already doing that, but now I realize that's the armor.
System's supposed to be. Oh.
He's a beast. He is an absolute beast. But I'm kind of glad of that. Like I feel like this is. We were saying how combat felt easy between the two, and now, well, not so much.
It was only a few days ago that we all nearly got killed in our sleep.
Yeah, it's great. So, moving on to the Gowans then. There's not too many actions of these to take, really. So, there's the one fighting Antom and Askarai, who's still alive, who, but also on fire, and is going to get one attack in against Antom again. So, Mike, could you roll a defense at -3, please, friend?
Yes, I can. No.
Okay, roll that armor and don't forget your blessed shield. Which
5.
is your armor? 5. That's pretty good. Again, the Gowan slashes sort of through Prios's guard, sending kind of like kind of flashes and odd sparks of light around you, and leaves this time a raked trace of blood over kind of like one of your pectorals and down your side, but only for 2 toughness. And then he's going to stagger back from this and howl with joy as the flames on his linens finally properly catch and turn him into a flailing torch, which he shudders and wails slightly before crashing into the forest. So Antom and Askarai both trying to kill him. Fire did it in the end, so technically a more effective combatant. I'm such a dick. So there's one Gowan standing who's quite wounded, but he's going to engage you lot. No one. It's worth noting, none of them even seemed to consider engaging people fighting Fundiber. But that leaves 3 of you, and I'm just going to roll randomly for who gets engaged. And excited, if it's Ascarai, isn't that exciting? It's not Ascarai, it's Steo, the best person to be engaged. So that Gowan comes running around the side of the troll, tries to engage you. Obviously, you get your free attack first. Go for it. It's a minus 3. Yeah.
15, 14, 13, 12, plus 1, 13 or under. 16. Oof.
Okay. In that case, he engages you and gets an attack against you. So roll your defense at -5, please.
5 or under.
Actually,
2.
-7 because you're flanked now.
I have still made it.
No, you're not, because the troll has not engaged you. Anyway, beside the point. Roll your armor for me.
I succeeded my defense roll, and my armor, if I recall, is D10.
Yep.
Yes. No, my armor is D10. It is 1.
Okay.
But I did succeed my defense roll, so that's not normally. That I don't believe I normally. That means I've dodged it.
Oh, if you just succeed your defense roll and you dodged it.
Yes, I rolled a 2.
Okay, well, he's getting a second attack because these guys have second attacks, but I ruled that they couldn't use them. They couldn't use the action to rule them if they were on fire. And this guy isn't on fire, so he's literally the first time a non-on-fire person has swung for any of you. So make another defense roll, please. Again at -5.
Okay. 4. No penalties because I'm not engaged. So that is a success.
Okay. Yeah, he comes swiping for... He gets inside the guard of your spear, unfortunately, but then comes swiping for you, but you manage to kind of knock away each blow with your spear before anything else happens. We will have a bit of the old fire affecting the ones who are on the ground. I am going to roll a die to see how many of them stand up to engage. It's 1 again. Unbelievably.
Come at us one at a time, you cowards.
1 at a time. Like the finest Hollywood cinematography. Fight choreography. So I've got to do some Gowan attack calculations now. So John, feel free to put stuff up on screen and talk it through with the people.
I have a comment from me saying we're going to start so many forest fires and final boss Smokey the Bear, which of course led to
No.
we have Beramo, we have Fundiber. We have Fundiberamo.
Fundiberamo!
The final form.
It's like they've done the fusion dance. I love them.
I feel like we have fought a corrupted bear. Have we? Or am I thinking of something else?
Maybe a boar. Corrupted boar.
Corrupted
Maybe.
boar.
I can't think of a bear. We had
Boar
the bear
mode.
in the camp.
I'm thinking of a completely different.
You're thinking of Mutant Year Zero, aren't you?
I am.
I'd remember
A
a bear.
long time ago.
Yeah.
I'd remember a bear if there was one in Symbaroum, even if it was before I joined the party, because I think people would still be like, "Do you remember that bear?"
We've also got this from Sam. Which we found the only people in Davakar who are heavier speakers than us.
Savage.
Oh man.
Thing is, I'm still hoping for that payoff where, like, we down Fundiber and the prediction comes true and the rest of the camp, like suddenly stops fighting, and that's not going to work if they've all caught fire first.
They're all dead. Yeah.
So what has happened, by the way, it's been quite the turn in the battle on the other side, because a lot of Gowans kind of stood up and managed to come attack the fortune hunters who, like, before they were gathered around individuals, kind of like hacking at them, and now they've kind of broken apart to one-on-one battles, which have not gone well for them at all. Anyone glancing over in that direction will see no less than 3 fortune hunters cut down in this round. So now there's only 4 fortune hunters left with Degesto. Yeah, so that's a bit of fun. Time for Troll. And it's definitely going to come at Steo again.
Oh dear.
So an attack, your free attack at +7, please.
That's a 9, which is a success.
Mm-hmm. And then
Oh,
damage,
that is
please.
11 damage.
11 damage. Okay. The troll is going to, it kind of hunches over almost on, on all fours and comes at you, like kind of like a gorilla would, like speeding itself up with its mighty paws, kind of slamming into the earth. You see this, you've developed your fighting style a little bit to be a bit more mobile because you're not, part of an infantry line anymore. But some circumstances just demand holding your ground as strong as possible. You rest the base of your foot against the foot of your spear, levy it to the right position, and the troll impales itself along what looks to be a vulnerable gap at the edge of its neck on to your spear, and your spear is instantly like yanked to the ground, and you kind of like drop over with it as the great creature crashes. You feel the last thudding reverberations of its heartbeat kind of shuddering up your spear, and then stopping as it wheezes and coughs its last on the forest floor. Troll down. Can we remove the troll from the banner, please, John?
Just for the record, that was more or less single-handed.
Yeah, that was solo troll.
Finally, I feel like Polar Mastery has paid off in that one fight where I basically took the lieutenant of the enemy out of the combat for everyone else and didn't even sacrifice too many of my own actions to do it. That's ridiculous.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You're welcome, Ambria.
The Fortune Hunters fought back against the Gowans, doing very little, it has to be said. So, Steo, it's now your turn.
I believe I'm actually engaged. Or did the other guy die? Because there was one on me, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah, there is one on you. Yeah, so you are engaged.
So that's going to be
try and get rid of him first, I guess.
So I don't think I can proc master because I can't, because it's not a reaction to take my attack.
He's engaged, and he's engaged. So
yeah.
So it's just an attack, straight up attack at -3.
At -3, so 12 or less. 10.
Lovely. Damage, please.
3.
Okay. No need for the rune tattoo for that one. I think you're slow to drag the spear out of this colossal corpse in front of you, and you try and jab it at the Gowan kind of rushing you, but all you do is kind of like poke him away a little bit to no clear effect. Are you going to take a movement action?
I will take a hit from this guy, but I'm actually at full HP, so I'll take my movement action to disengage.
Okay, then first off, roll defense at a -5, please.
That is the exact opposite of a -5. 18.
Okay, and then roll your armor.
Armor is D10, so that's actually a 6, which is respectable.
It is respectable, and you kind of feel a clang on the back of your armor as he kind of like desperately tries to kind of wedge it between your shoulder blades, but all it seems to do is kind of like carve a slight cut as the tip of one tip of the axe rakes down the back of your head between your hair, like along your external occipital protuberance on the back of your head, and take 1 toughness.
Ouch.
Okay, who are you engaging and getting a free attack on? Because clearly you're going to do it with someone.
Well, my movement action was to disengage, so I'm now unengaged, but I don't have a second movement action to re-engage, do I?
Is it a movement action just to disengage?
I thought it was just, I thought you could step away, but you just had to take the free attack. Could be wrong, though.
Let's have a look at... No, I don't think it is just because it isn't like the disengage, like moving is the movement action, and as part of your moving, you're disengaging. So I'd say as long as you're moving to within the range of a movement action, that you can move to someone else and engage. I don't see why you couldn't.
Well, I know someone who has a long weapon, but no pull or mastery skill, therefore allowing me to. Oh no, he hasn't done it this turn, has he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he did it on
He
reveal.
has.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Aaron
well.
has already engaged and got around it. So yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm going to move in on Fundiber.
Okay, move in on him and get that. Oh yeah, you don't get a free attack on him because
Well, I
he
do
also
because
has
it's
long.
my engagement attack. Oh no, because he
No,
has long as well,
he
of
has
course. Yeah, so no attack.
But you were engaged with him though, without being hit back. So that's an advantage. So, oh god, what we got left? Anton, you are free, Anton. Of the Gowans facing your group, there is there are two of them who are unengaged. One of them who's looking a little bit offended that Steer was just running away from him. And another one. They're both quite banged up. And both within attack range. And there's two on. There's also DeGesto's group who are not doing well, but
I'll go for the one of the ones nearest our group, and maybe the one nearest Steo. Although I guess that wouldn't be a flanking thing because he's not engaged. But yeah, I'll go for that guy anyway.
sorry, I was reading something in our chat. Do you the one who was
the
fighting Steo?
The one near Steo, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, make an attack roll at -3.
I don't make it, but I rolled an odd number.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit him for 4.
Okay, I don't think he's expecting the attack from you, so I won't have him trip the rune tattoo. So your flail definitely thrashes into him. You're not sure how much he feels it, but you've definitely done something. Yeah, people are debating in our private chat to distract me about the disengagement and movement action. Apparently, it does look like it is a movement action in and of itself. Yeah.
Oh look, I think I've gone under the frying pan into the
That's
fire,
fine.
so I'm pretty happy to still be in this situation.
It's done now. It's fine. Yeah, the only thing that would change, I think, is that it means if you were engaging with him next turn, then he would get an attack against you. Oh no, he wouldn't. No, he never would get an attack against you. You both got long.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter either way.
Yeah, I think the disengagement rule, I think the way we've done it is at least consistent, because that's the way. I'm usually the only one that disengages, and that's how we've done it.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. It doesn't matter either way in this circumstance. So there we go. Okay, DeGesto is, I guess, at this point desperately trying to save his group of fortune hunters. So he's going to wade into one of them with a huge cracking thud, which doesn't particularly, which definitely doesn't down them for the first time. So there we go. But he's kind of waded into that melee. So here's the question, folks. We're at 10:07 here. Do we go for another round or not? It's up to. Does anyone need to desperately dash off? It's possible, I think, that with another round we could finish this. Chris wants to go for it. Sam wants to go for it. Yeah, we're all going for it. Okay, here we go. I think we literally might finish it now, because now is Askarai with a bow.
No pressure.
A bit of pressure. Not sure.
So I shouldn't even ask who you're firing at, because I'm guessing it's Fundiber.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Fundiber. I think on the balance, it's better to do an armor piercing shot. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's what Askarai is thinking. I think he seems to be wearing.
It might be
of some kind.
Yeah, he's wearing He's not wearing really significant armor, but he's wearing armor with a bit of heft to it. It's worth pointing out you've seen his rune tattoo flare several times, and you are aware from experience that your armor piercing does not work against rune tattoos.
Yeah.
So
but I still think it's probably best to do the ignoring armor shot. I will appoint him as my hunter's instinct target, so I get 2 tries to hit him and an extra D4 on my damage.
Cool.
And
he is
He's flanked.
Flanking, yeah, but not at ranged. It doesn't count. So
Okay.
you could almost start like it's one of these things where he's surrounded by 4 people, and it's like.
Does it not
shouldn't
impact
be
his
something
ability
that-
to also dodge arrows while he's dealing with what's in front of him?
Well, he's not dodging arrows, though, is he? It's more about how quickly he's moving and how easy it
Okay.
is to get a bead on him.
Fair enough.
Regardless, the rules say that flanking doesn't work at range. Otherwise, firing into combat would always be flanking.
Yeah, I think
Or-
firing into
almost
combat
always.
also, like, if you're going to argue it, could have its own downside.
Oh yeah,
as
I
much
think
as
I
anything.
think
Yeah, fair
the
enough,
fact
yeah.
that it has no. Like
Yeah.
if I was
It's very
one thing I put in
generous.
this game is firing into combat a result of 20 is friendly fire, but it isn't, so that's fine. Okay, yeah, so it's a -2 there. Ascarai, please.
Okay, I need a 14. I get 2 tries. I rolled a 5, so I do hit. And it's
Okay.
a D10 and a D4 plus 1 ignoring armor, which is a total of 11 ignoring armor.
11 ignoring armor.
Yep.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We're glad we went the extra round.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's three of you and Revelia kind of surrounding Fundiber now. He kind of whirls round on you all, like loosening. He's got like a leather strap around his wrist, keeping like a solid grip on that hammer, and he actually like manages to extend his arm out all the way, which is unbelievable to all of you with the length and size of that hammer. And he loosens basically he loosens his grip and relies on the tie around his wrist and whips it round to its full extent, kind of making you all kind of stagger back. And as he does so, he lets out a triumphant roar that is choked in his throat as an arrow with familiar fletching emerges from kind of the gap between his collarbone and his throat. He lets out another gargled roar, and you see his eyes starting to change, starting to drip some awful green and blue fluid as the rune tattoo on his forehead kind of flares, desperate to try and contain the damage, and corruption starts running through his veins, but clearly not enough to transform him into some kind of abomination. He spits out one last gargled, growled word in Gowan, which, while none of you can understand it, all of you are fairly sure it is something along the lines of cowards. He crashes down to the forest floor on both knees and then slowly topples backwards with a gargled howl of anger and then goes still. Almost instantly, all the Gowans take one look at this and turn and flee. DeGesto and a couple of the surviving fortune hunters kind of like scramble forwards and hack at them and manage to bring another couple of them down in their battle fury before the clearing is quiet, apart from the gentle wheezing of the nearly dead and the crackling of the campfires and the guttering flames in the underbrush. It's remarkably silent, apart from those noises and your heavy breathing, and therefore I'm not going to ask all of you or any of you to roll vigilant to hear the shouts, cries, and screams coming from New Earthmore. And I think that will be the end of our session. So thank you very much for bearing with us through that combat. Hopefully you enjoyed it. People seem to interact with. I always think combat must be boring for people, but I think it's actually probably quite exciting. So thank you for that, and thank you to my wonderful players as usual. If you sling some comments and questions in the chat, we'll bring them up and talk over them. In the meantime, I'll do a little bit of promo. If you look down below, there's a bunch of links to Twitch, links to YouTube. You watch this on one, please do watch it on the other as well, and all our other stuff too. Twitch is where to catch us live. YouTube is where to you can see all of our previous video on demand, all of our archived stuff. It's all on there, and there's lots and lots and lots of it. There's also links to our social media, our Patreon, our Discord. Get involved with those if they're things that appeal to you. We run 2 weekly series at the moment here on Twitch and YouTube. Mondays is Vason, Wednesdays is Symbaroum. Please do get involved with both if you feel like it. And we also run one-shots one a month, although we had 2 last month, Alien and One Ring. And the one for February is on Sunday, February the 19th, when Sam will be running Call of Cthulhu in a lovely abyssal submarine tale of horror and claustrophobia and cosmic nastiness, I'm sure. Okay, John, I think we had quite an active chat today, right? So it might be quite a few. Steve, it'd have been inconvenient if he just turned into something more awful. Yeah, like one of the reasons I did drop that bit in was, coincidentally, his rune tattoo just took him to his corruption threshold there, so it actually was mechanically appropriate as well. But also, he would have needed double that to abominate, right? He was just getting stigma, are they called? So
yeah, but he would have got a chunk of permanent corruption for going over his threshold, assuming he hadn't.
It's 1, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, yeah, but it won't double his corruption in one go. So, or it's like a D4 roll or something like that. It wouldn't have taken him to it anyway. His big corruption threshold was 10, and he would have had to gone to 11, and he was at 5, so it's fine.
This Fundiber,
but yeah, it would have been fun.
11.
It would have been fun. Dibber. Next.
That's good.
Sam.
That cost your soul.
Aaron Dar, he's not a nobleman. He's noble, man. Yeah. I can't remember I remember seeing that. I cannot remember what it was referring to, Sam. What was it referring to?
I think it was just at the beginning when talking about Aaron Dar being a nobleman, but not really a nobleman. And
oh, I see. Yes.
Shout out to Jay-Z if you're watching.
I'm sure he is.
He's a big fan.
Oh no. Yeah, Telling Tales. Look, how many references have you had tonight? You've had callbacks to previous stuff. You've had a Jay-Z reference. You've had a Gorilla Monsoon reference. What more do you want?
Backstory for my bloody spear.
Backstory for Gorilla Monsoon.
It's the spear that stabbed that Gowin that one time.
Yeah. Killed a troll with it. That's the backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, and later a troll.
Don't Cook Food, how long in-game time is around? I can't remember if it fully clarifies, but I want to say it's like 10 seconds or something.
That's what I thought.
It's fairly typical of games to have like a roughly 10-second round. That's what it is in my head. I don't know if that's what it technically is.
And assuming that everyone's acting simultaneously, that sounds about the right amount of time for everybody to do some movement and an action, right?
Yeah. I think it's one of these. It's technically theatre of the mind, so don't think about it too hard. But if you have to think about it, it's go for 10 seconds. A similar time-based question. We were talking about how all the rounds were getting faster.
Yeah, it's just people were dropping, and also once I'm into the rhythm of like how to do this, because that like just to show you how much I needed to do that. We have, this is how much damage good guys do to bad guys by default. NPCs, that is. This is the same for the bad guys. This, that's something else. That's Degesto and his Fortune Hunter's toughnesses. That's the Degesto's Gowan opponents. That's your Gowan opponents, the player character's Gowan opponents. And that's Fundiber and the Troll, whose name is adorably Grap.
Oh, no, I'm sad.
So yeah, that.
So Matt, now you know what the SQL server is doing on an MMO cluster.
Yeah, exactly.
How many Fortune Hunters died and how many are left?
4 are left and 3 died.
Okay.
If it went an extra round, that would have gone very dark for the Fortune Hunters and potentially Degesto.
I mean, like I was 1 round's unlucky dice rolls away from just being in the dirt.
Yeah.
Like
that was good. That actually felt quite balanced as like a tough fight, I think.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's amazing how much better we did in that fight compared to the fight where we were attacked while sleeping. Like,
yeah,
the only
it's almost like that confers a really significant advantage.
Yeah.
I think round 1 was an hour, round 2 was 35 minutes, round 3 was 20 minutes, and round 4 was about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's when Askarai could actually fire an arrow, so then it was done.
Yeah, that scans, yeah.
Cool. Naga, can you show his stat block for me, please? Yeah, I should be able to. 1 second, let me get...
I think it's just an A4 page with yes written on it.
He's a pretty brutal opponent. Let me hang on. I can do this. I just need to zoom in a bit. I don't particularly like to show PDF stuff, mostly because it feels a bit. But I'm sure a stat block is not too damaging. Let me. So ignore this bit on the right here. This is his, like, as you can see, all of his base stuff, all that stuff he's got. Yeah, the real kicker is this long hammer with long bastards, unwieldy, massive, and precise. 2 attacks at the same target, 10, 8 damage. So his standard attack is 8 damage, but once per turn he gets 10 attack damage. So every time he'd already used that, he was doing 8 damage. And then
brutal.
Yeah, he's pretty rough in there. There's the fella himself, and this is the rest of his stat block here. So he has 4 armor and then 2 for the rune tattoo. Yeah, his toughness was 21. Yeah. Yep. Pretty rough enemy.
Hammer Rhythm is...
Hammer Rhythm's insane, and he had Master in it. It's really powerful. Yeah.
Damn.
He didn't like not hitting people. Let's put it that way. So there we go. What else we got? We got anything else, John?
We had a comment. It's not showing up on StreamYard because it was part of, where is it? 4242's resub with just the words "Don't die." So thank you for that. For both the resub and for the advice.
I think your resub saved their lives. I can think of no other thing for that. So thank you for that, 42. Thank you for a follow from RNBRX as well, or Rinbrooks. I don't know how you want to be pronounced. Anything else? Good.
There's always that one.
How much corruption did I get for the "it'll be Fundiber" pun? I can't gain any more corruption. I'm already an abomination and have been for a very long time, so I'm fine. I'm immune.
Oh, and I think you might like this one.
This pronunciation of Gawain is how my high school English teacher pronounced Gawain. Gawain.
If I was in
wrong, you mean? No. Gawain. I want to say that actually might be quite close to old Welsh pronunciations of Gawain, interestingly. I'm not saying that's why they did it, but maybe it is. Who knows? That's enough from me. Thank you, everyone, for watching that massive combat. Sounds like we're going to have more next week. So that's exciting times. Take care and stay safe, and we will see you next week for more Symbaroum. Goodbye.